10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, welcome everybody. Wednesday. Oh shit. Let me get my notes here. Wednesday, uh, Wednesday, November the 16th, 2022 already. Can you believe that? I don't even know how many days left in the end of the year. I forgot to look at that. What is today? National Fast Food Day. I should have got a hamburger or something. National Button Day. I should show you some cool buttons. And National Check Your Wipers Day. Now, that's very important, huh? National Check All Your Wipers, especially this time of the year. Let's see. Oh, these are some questions I was going to give away. Maybe some prizes. We'll give away something later on. Okay, that's something else I'll do too. So I got some of them things I can maybe give away some prizes later on. Let's see. What else is happening here? What's my notes here? Just got through with the Patreon outing up there in the Meadview area. Ran into some folks up there, a bunch of people. There was like, I don't know how many people was up there, 6, 8 people, something like that. It was a nice little group. Everybody with the larger detectors found gold, the 6,000, 7,000s. And Steve found the biggest piece. It was over a grammer. I think I got 9 pieces, but it was a fun time. Gave away some stuff and all of that. So that was kind of cool. Let's see. That was that. We got our New Year's event at the end of the year, December 28th. It starts to the 1/1, 5 days of digging golden party. If you want information on that, 928-851-7167. You can get in on that still. Okay. I also got a couple things in the mail, and people sent me some stuff that I got to get to try, but I wanted to show you some of this stuff. If any of you guys ever use any of this flock, the stuff you put in the water, flocculant. It's flocculant. You put it in the water and it dissolves the clay to help keep your your water clear, stuff like that. Anyways, I got a few of these here. I think one of them is on the prize wheel right here. I was going to give away to on that prize wheel that we're doing too. But anyways, I'm going to be trying some of this here coming up here in the video. And Justin, he sent me some of this silicone mat that I got to try out. Put it in probably a keen recirculator, so I'll be trying that out there too. Upcoming. Those are a couple things that I have to do on some videos. Anyways, let's see who is here in the chat room here. Let me go through here. Paul, hello, Paul. Herb, hello, Herb. Richard Billen. Hey, Richard, I apologize, buddy. I'll get to that in just a second here. Doug, hello, Doug. Herb, Daniel Grubby, hello there. David Villa, hello. John Ryan, hey, Patty's Adventures, hello. Trippin' Tommy, hello, Tommy. Hey, Tommy, you were going to come over. I got some information. Anytime you maybe want to come over and we could work on doing some of that voiceover work that we were talking about. MJ, IRL, hi, new here. Well, welcome. Mike Duffy, yes, Mike. I tell you what, Mike, you missed out on the gold, buddy. We went up and we found some more gold, man. So there's still gold up there in the Meadview, man. Looking forward to getting back up there again. Sam 545, welcome. Stephen Peasley with his big ass nugget piece of gold, welcome, guy. John Ryan, Karen McAfee, welcome. Hello. Okay. Anyways, Karen's in one room and John's in the other room. I guess John's got to work yet, so he hasn't logged on yet. I've got a ding. Let me see what my ding says. My ding. I don't know what my who my dinger is. I get dingings all the time. Anyway, so that's what's happening there. We'll give stuff away a little bit later. What else do I see here? What's it? Oh, that's something else. Okay. I'll just go on there. All right. So anyway, that's what's happening in my neck of the woods. So was up there in Meadview and ran into an old prospector up there, old Reese Towns. I had a book of his and I left it up there too. Shame on me. Anyway, so that's what I did. So that's what's happening in my neck of the woods. Anyway, so nothing else is going on here. So further to do, like I say, we'll give stuff away. I got some mistake stuff, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So let's just go ahead and bring our guest in tonight. There's John. Hello, John. Yes, you're in the other room. You guys like to do that so you guys can answer the questions from 2 different locations. I know you guys. Okay, our guest. Right here, look at this. Reese Towns, good morning. You look good in pink.
It's the lights in the truck. How you doing today?
Hey, cheers, man. What's happening out there in your neck of the woods?
Not really too much, just editing videos today. Got 2 videos up today.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How's the weather out there?
It's cold. It was cold today. I didn't want to go out and detect, and I had to deal with the mouse situation in the back of my truck.
Yeah, the mouse. Yeah, we heard about the mouse, your famous mouse. So you found a piece of gold? You went out and you found some gold?
Yeah, I got a little bit. Not as much this year as I did last year, but I don't know what the deal is, but just keep trying new stuff, new strategies, and that gives me more knowledge to throw out there. If one doesn't work, then I have a lot more strategies to keep pulling gold out of the ground.
It seems like it's getting tougher. I know, because last time I spent a couple weeks up there and pulled off over 100 pieces, and this time up there I only got 9. So yeah, it's getting tough, man. It is getting tough.
It's not as good as Montana, but at least it's warm down here.
Stephen Peasley says hello.
Hello, Steve.
And, let's see. Doug, welcome, Doug. He said hello, Richard. Paul, hello. Being smarter than the rock. There's still plenty of gold out there, probably, over the, we're talking how many years have people been out there metal detecting, and probably before the 6000s came out that gave that extra depth, people probably walked over so much stuff, and then the 6000s come out, and then everybody's finding gold again, and next year they'll come out with the 20,000, and then people will find more gold that the 6,000 couldn't pick up. So
right. Yeah, and the more knowledge you have, the better that is too. A lot of people just subscribe to just get out there and swing, but you still need knowledge to put yourself on more likely spots.
It is. You do have to, there's a little bit of luck involved in to get out there and then get on it. Keep your head up. Lisa, welcome. Sam 545, welcome. Anyway, so you've been out. You're from Montana, so you've been out. So whatever brought you or possessed you to come out into the Meadview area?
A friend of mine in Montana, him and his wife bought a place in Dolan Springs, and they said, "Why don't you come down for the winter and hunt gold out at Gold Basin?" So I came down last winter, spent from October 27th until March 12th at Gold Basin and here in Meadview, and found 50 nuggets last year. Went back to Montana and instantly got caught in a snowstorm with 18 degrees in my tent. But it wasn't until May I was able to get up into an area that I wanted to hunt for the summer, spend all summer long at. And while I was up there, I found like 6 pieces the first day or 2 days, and then I was skunked for 2 or 3 weeks, and then I found some ground that yielded some good gold. I staked the claim on it, and it turned out to be a real rich area. We've already pulled out probably over 7.5 to 8 ounces between the 4 of us.
That's some decent stuff.
Just detecting.
Yeah, that's nothing to sneeze at. Let's see. I was just looking at what I see. Thomas Pennyweight Folks, welcome. John Ryan. Who did I miss? Buck Rackley. Doug Digging. Canuck Treasure Hunter, welcome. Richard Duke, welcome. So earlier, when I do these shows and I do it to come on, into the future, and I forgot to click PM rather than AM. So I guess 6 o'clock this morning, the show aired and there was nothing there. So some people was in the chat room and they were all saying, where was I at? But that was a mistake, Richard, because I didn't click PM. But hey, you were there ready to go. So I'm impressed. You know what? I should give you a prize just for being there. I think there was like 3 of you guys there. But anyway, who was there at 6 o'clock this morning waiting for the show to start? Let me know that if you guys are here right now. Okay, so, and you also, I talked to a friend of yours today, somebody that knows you.
Knows me?
Oh, me? Yeah, Josh. I was talking to Josh today.
Okay.
Yeah, I was talking to Josh today, so we were chit-chatting. I told him you were going to be on the show tonight.
Yeah.
I was, but you know that already. I saw you, Richard, but who else was there with you? I know there was you and trucking something. I know you guys are talking. Okay, so you got a book out. Tell us about your book you got out.
Well, the Nugget Shooters Field Guide, I started it in 2016 and I finished it 2019, I believe it was, and it took from 2019 to around March to February to get it printed and out. And it was a long process, a lot of hurdles to jump through, get that thing to where it is. And I'm quite happy with how it turned out. Very professional looking book. And this book is 120 pages long, 170 full color photos with graphics all throughout the photos, highlighting key points of interest that I want the readers to pay attention to so they understand what's going on. And most all of the photos have very detailed captions along with them that will bring some great insight to people on strategies for gold detecting and places to look that they may never thought of. In the book, I talk about an applied theory that I invented called the Towns Theory. And what this Towns Theory does is it helps a person find the earliest stage of a stream system. And that's important for the very reason that it takes the guesswork out of how far up on a bench will you find nuggets. And it's very helpful. There are some guys in the Mother Lode that when they got my book and they read that, they said it's going to open up a whole new possibilities for them in the Mother Lode by that Towns theory. And this Towns theory was confirmed by 2 geologists with the Idaho Geological Survey. 1 or 2, I think it was 2 geologists in Montana at the Bureau of Mines, as well as the former chief mining engineer with the Bureau of Mines, Robin McCullough, who's a very well-known, very respected chief mining engineer. All throughout the book, there's a lot of tips, tricks, strategies, things a lot of people haven't thought of. There's some stuff out there that a lot of people know. I've taken it a step further. And but I wrote this book because there was a lot of things I wanted to know about that I could never find information about. So I decided I was going to have to do some experiments and go to places, test stuff out, and then write about it myself, because there just wasn't information out there to answer the questions that I had. That's why I wrote it. And now there's a sequel to it called Strategic Gold Detecting, the Art and Science of Gold Nugget Exploration and Recovery. And I still have about a year's worth of writing to do on this second book, but there's going to be a lot more photographs and a lot more writing to it.
So David Villa just said, ordering the book how?
If you go to goldseekeradventures.com, and Seeker does not have an S, Adventures does. goldseekeradventures.com. And actually right now I'm running a Christmas sale of $5 off of the book. The book is $24.95. And if you type in 5 USD-NOV22, that's the discount code. So on my website, if you type that in, you'll get $5 off on the book.
You didn't give me $5 off on that book.
I just started this today.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, so John Ryan says, where can we pick up a copy? Paul said ditto. David Villa, ordering the book. Okay. The Gold Color, welcome. Let me see who I missed. Digging, Robert, Silva, haha, Snow. Let's see. John Mac. Look at John McAfee, new channel supporter. Welcome, John McAfee. Thanks for your support. John's in green because he's a channel supporter. Code again, please. The Gold Color said.
What's that?
The code again. The secret code.
Yes. It's 5 USD capital dash NOV capitals 22. So again, that's 5 USD dash NOV 22.
Okay, somebody got that. They can type that into the room there for everybody else to see.
And I have books with me. So when you order that on my website, I'll get a notification immediately on my phone. And then I head out the next morning to get those books mailed off.
So look at that. You can't beat that. So 5 USB-NOV22. Okay. All right. Gold Color posted that. Thank you. The website again, Thomas asked.
goldseekeradventures.com. And then also on my YouTube channel, there's some links on my YouTube channel for the website as well. And that's also Gold Seeker Adventures.
Okay, so let's how did you ever get involved with gold prospecting?
My dad was a dealer for Garrett back in 1980, and my grandparents were building a cabin in Lincoln, Montana. And the building that they bought an old schoolhouse in Lincoln on Alice Creek Road, and we dismantled it, moved it all the way across Lincoln, 2 miles west of Lincoln. And we used to go across the highway and go up into Lincoln Gulch to the old town site of Lincoln, which was an extremely rich ground up there. They pulled, I think it was $6 or $7 million worth of gold. I can't remember if it was 1,400 or 4,000 something. It was a short distance. They pulled an enormous amount of gold out, and it was all 97 fine. It was a very rich gulch. But we used to go up there and poke around in the summer times, bring sacks of pay dirt back to our cabin, and we'd pan it. And then we were also detecting for gold and also relics and coins up there, and found some old interesting stuff at some old miners' cabins. Didn't ever find gold at that point with the metal detector, but at that age, I had a lot of success at panning, and I just stuck with it all of these years. And that was back in 1980. I'm 54 now, so been doing it a long time.
A couple people said they've tried to use that code and it doesn't work.
It was 5 USD as in dog, not B.
Oh, 5 USD as in dog.
Yep, that stands for $5 US.
Okay. NOV 22-NOV 22. Okay. So
NOV 5 USD-NOV 22.
Okay. A few people tried to order and they can't get through. Okay. Try that code there. All right, Reese, I got to play a commercial. You hang with us a moment?
Sure.
Okay, go take a potty break or something. We'll be right back in a couple moments, folks. See you.
ICMJ's Prospecting and Mining Journal is the only monthly gold prospecting magazine published in the United States and is the most comprehensive and respected magazine about gold prospecting on the market today. With readers in all 50 states, it features articles on detecting, high banking, dredging, small-scale operations, assaying, basic geology, how to read the land, regulations, and more. Our monthly Ask the Experts column is answered by true experts. It features answers to readers' questions on processing, detecting, geology, and any other questions you may have related to finding and recovering gold and other precious metals. The Mining Journal features the most extensive selection of equipment, mining properties, services, and more, and a classified section featuring over 20 times more new and used items than the nearest competitor. The Mining Journal has been in continuous publication since 1931. A full 12 issues is available for just $27.95, and discounts are available for 2- and 3-year subscriptions. And an online subscription gives you access to over 3,000 articles going back nearly 20 years. Our purpose is to teach you how to find more gold. ICMJ's Prospecting and Mining Journal is the tool you need to succeed. It's time to raise your gold prospecting knowledge to the next level with ICMJ's Prospecting and Mining Journal. Give us a call at 831-479-1500 or visit www.icmj.com. That's www.icmj.com.
All right, we're back. Cheers, everybody. Craig Carter, welcome, Craig. Craig just said, just use the code and it worked fine. Book ordered. Gold Color said works. Correct. Okay, looks like things that's working going through. Nice just brought discount helps with the offset of shipping. You're going to be at the AMRA Christmas dinner. I am going, donating 3 Mexican blankets for raffles. I was going to go up there, Gold Color, but for me here, that's a 9-hour drive. And I just talked to Jeff a little earlier about that, and but it's just too far for us to drive all the way up there. So I'm going to have to bag that. But anyways, okay. So talking to old Reese Towns tonight here on the show. Cheers, everybody. Hey. What else is happening there, old Reese? It looks like you're in your truck there.
Well, last year I decided to go full-time detecting for gold, make it or break it, and working on my book, selling my book. And it's been quite an adventure doing so. And so I've been living out of my truck in a tent for a year and a half. And there's been a lot of hardships and some scary stuff that's happened, like the grizzly that tried coming through the wall of my tent in August at 1:50 in the morning. But I wouldn't trade this lifestyle for anything. There's no way I'd go back to a 9 to 5 and rent and mortgage. There's a lot of it's a peace of mind, but you have chores. You have a lot more chores. Camp chores.
Yeah. John says, have you ever prospected it around Libby?
Yes, I have for years. In fact, the biggest piece of gold I've found came out of Libby, and it was a 3-gram nugget. But yeah, Libby's a tough place to pull gold out of, and a lot of it has to do with it's been hit. There's a lot of trash, and there's some areas that the Forest Service won't let you work and detect with a metal detector. So, but there's a lot of vegetation, and the forests are thick, and it's just a tough area. But if a person wants to find gold up there, I think October is the best month to do it, when the creek is at its lowest, and just go down through the creek and detect.
We used to know some friends that lived up there in Libby, Bob and Linda Gold Miser. They had a shop up there, a prospecting store. And then they had one out.
They were friends of mine, yeah.
Yeah, and then Bob died a while back, and they sold the store to another. It's there in Quartzsite still. So anyways, yeah, Bob was a character, Gold Miser.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got some gold there. So what do? You just collect gold and then just keep showing it, or do you give it away to people like watching the show? Or you want to give everybody a piece of that gold that you got, don't you?
The gold I find after each week, a lot of what I do is going to be sending it back home to Montana, and it'll sit up there. And then when I need to sell it, I have someone up there that'll sell it for me. Some of it I'm going to be turning into jewelry as soon as I can figure out how to use this Little Smith jeweler's torch.
Did you get one? Did you ever get a hold of that guy I was telling you about, old Bunker?
No, not yet.
Oh.
I got so much on my mind every day. I have a note here for something I wrote down a few days ago, and I have no idea what it is. Something to do with gold and some someplace here in the States.
Earlier I saw Josh in here. Josh, are you still there? Did you find any gold up there, Josh? I never heard of your on your gold, if you found anything or not. If you're still hanging out there, Josh, tell us if you found any gold. I never heard, Josh. See, the gold color. eBay is a great for getting a jeweler's complete jeweler's torch kit combo. The gold color says.
Yeah, I've got the little Smith torch with the oxygen settling. I just need to get whatever end pieces I'm going to use for brazing onto the nuggets for earrings or necklaces. And then I just got to get something to read up on where to set the oxygen settling, because I've never messed with oxygen settling before. So that's my concern right there.
Just start high, start burning everything off, and then come down from there.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh never found anything. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. Yeah, better luck next time. I have a buddy in Montana near Butte. He gets gold. I know that next week is the day before Halloween. I mean, the day before Thanksgiving. So I think I'm not going to have anybody on the show then. And what I think we'll do is just give away a whole bunch of prizes. We'll just give stuff away next week. But I got to give something away here, Reese. I don't know what I'll give away. Maybe this little bag of dirt. I do have these cool stickers. Maybe I'll give some cool stickers away. I don't know. I'll give something away here. But here's the question. So the first person in the chat room that answers this question correctly will get some type of prize here. On the last video, I said that the old timers had what? And what did I find? First one in the chat room that can answer that question. So, warm up comedy hour. Let's see. Oh, bag of dirt, nice sticker will go on my FJ Cruiser. Gold. No, that's not the right answer. But I know somebody knows that answer. I don't know if they're still here or not in that chat room, but dowsing rods, gold, Paul. Buck Rackley. I think you got that right. Buck Rackley. I'm going to give that to you. I'm giving that to Buck Rackley. On the last video, I was metal detecting and I found stuff that the old timers apparently had tents, and I found pieces of zippers. Buck Rackley, you are correct. Congratulations. I'll send you something. Buck Rackley, send me make sure I get your shipping address somehow, email or PM, whatever, but send that on out. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, Buck Rackley. I got a whole bunch of questions, but I think I'll save all of these things till next week. And what I'll do is on the Thanksgiving show, we'll just say Thanksgiving, and we'll just give stuff away. How's that? Cool. All right. So, I swear to God, that hat looks pink.
It's the lighting coming down off of the console.
What's the temperature there? Pretty cold?
It's not too bad. It's probably like
Hey, you look better there than you did before.
Oh yeah, I turned the lights out. I wasn't sure it was gonna give enough light.
Hey, that's okay. I did the show last week in the dark, so that's all right.
Yeah, it's 42 degrees here, but this morning it was 29, I think. 29 or 30.
That's pretty cold. Richard Billen, congratulations. I wasn't quick enough this time. Yes, Richard, I was waiting for you to jump in there. I thought you had that for sure. You're always the first one in there, but he beat you. But anyways, we'll do another one this week too. I don't care about that, Buck. I got to have that information. Make sure you send that to me or I can get it later, I guess. Steve Peasley says burst. Stephen, where are you at now? You went over to the Grand Canyon afterwards. I missed where you are at, Reese, Paul asked. Where are you at?
I'm at Meadview.
Where the hell is Meadview? That's what everybody says. Where's Meadview?
Meadview is 62 miles northeast of Kingman.
Okay, that makes sense because I always tell everybody south of Lake Mead.
Yeah, I think it's 62 miles. It's basically the gateway to the west rim of the Grand Canyon. So
that's a good one. Steve Peasley, you're in Bouse. Wow, you're almost here then. I'm planning to return home to Montana myself next year, John Ryan says.
To Libby or Butte?
I don't know, just Montana. John said, "Oh, let me see. Where did I see that at? I just saw a question. Where'd it go? If you run into Lake Mead, you went too far." Absolutely, Paul, you're right, because it dead ends right there in Lake Mead. Where did I see? I just saw a question. Craig says, if I click Reese Towns on payment checkout, that means the book is free, right? Yeah. That's not the question I just saw. Where did I see that question at? Where'd it go? There was a question here. All right. Let me see. All right. Bozeman, he says. Let's see. There was a question. Let me see where that question went. Something about a detector. Buck says, what machine do you use?
I use the GPX 6000, the GPX 5000, and the Equinox 800. Mostly right now I use the 6000. I've found probably over 350, 450 pieces of gold with it so far since last October. And it's an absolute amazing machine. Noisy, but it gets the gold.
I agree with you on that. It is noisy. I wish, for its class, it's the best one out there. And I've said that it's paid for itself. I've paid for itself with the amount of gold I found. I'm waiting for that Axiom to come out. I want to get real seriously. But I did notice by putting on that Coral Tech. See, I got the Coral Tech. They gave me this cool hat when I got the 9-inch. I did not like the 14x9. I didn't care for that at all. That was heavier. That elliptical, I hated it. But the 9-inch, I went back over an area, and somebody was in here earlier today. I went on this area and I pulled several pieces of gold out, and I told this person, if you go down and rake it, you will find gold. He went and raked it, and he found like 3 or 4 pieces. Then I went back again, and I found a couple after he raked it. But I've been over that area 2 or 3 times with that 11-inch standard, never found anything. But then I put on that 9-inch Coral Tech and went back over it, and I found a little piece of gold. I think that Coral Tech is more sensitive. The 9-inch, to me, I think is going to be all right.
Yeah, I didn't care for the 9x14 either. I had that thing on for a good probably 3 weeks to a month before I sold it. I wanted to give it an honest try. And at one point on one of my 2 claims that's really rich, there was no trash. Everything we got a hit on was gold. And I had a feeling that I was missing gold, and I didn't understand why my small gold count was going down. My bigger gold was coming through, but my real small subgrammars was going away. So the next day I put my 11-inch back on, went back over the pile, my waste pile that I just detected at the end of the day, and I pulled 2 or 3 pieces of gold right off of the top that 9x14 missed. And it shouldn't have missed, because it's about the size of 11 and a half inch equal to. It shouldn't have missed it if it was top-notch coil.
Yeah, no,
So I ended up getting it off and sold
yeah,
it.
not, yeah, you can't. I don't think the standard coral was hard to beat. But like I said, I think that 9 inches are good. Yes, Craig, you know I love MindLab. I think MindLabs are a piece of shit. I'll be the first to admit it. They're the worst freaking ass outfit out there. But you know, I finally did get my battery back on my 6,000. The battery, I have two batteries, and one of them took a dive, and I fought tooth and nail for them to finally warranty it. And it took another dealer to step in to help me out to finally get that battery warranted. And I just barely got that battery a couple days ago, my new battery. But when you plug it in, that thing pulls right out. The
Oh, wow.
7,000 I got, the 7,000, you push it into the charger and it pushed all the way in. Piece of shit. My labs are a piece of shit. I'm telling you that.
Well,
I got my Equinox 800 pair of headphones, don't work anymore. Shaft breaks. My lab, piece of shit detectors. I can't wait till another company can come out. Anyway, don't get me started on my lab.
well, I was hunting with someone that had a Axiom, and
I know. We don't want to go into that because, you know, anyways, I know what you're saying, and I've already heard this story. But
yeah,
Fritz Balls, are you upset, Jack? Absolutely not. You know, MindLab won't give me a dealership. So I'm a Fisher, I'm a Deus, I'm a Garrett. I sell simplexes, Deus. I sell all types of detectors, but nope, MindLab won't give me a dealership. That's why I say MindLab are worthless detectors. They're pieces of shit. They're garbage. I don't like them, but they're the best in their class, and that's why people use them. They're not even made in the United States. I wish Garrett, I'm hoping, will step up and do some really good stuff because, anyways, let's not get on there. How do you really feel about MindLab? Hey, Richard, let me tell you how I feel about once upon a time I told everybody, I think everybody should call MindLab and say, why won't you guys give Jack a dealership? Here's the number, 1-800 eat shit. Anyways, don't get me off on a tangent, guys. See, it was your fault. Whoever you, Craig, you started this. Anyways, okay. Where are we at before we got sidetracked? What's going on, Reese? What's happening? Do you got any gold to show us? A piece of gold you found today?
Today I took today off. I was editing videos, and I had to deal with that damn mouse in my truck.
Didn't you say you found a piece of specimen or something out there the other day or something?
Patrick found a real nice specimen today.
Oh, Patrick over in the campground?
Yep.
Oh, he never told me nothing. He didn't send me no info.
Yep.
Because that's his first piece then that he's found.
I don't know where he got it at. It's not the first piece he got with the 6, but I haven't seen a specimen like this come out around here yet. It was pretty cool.
Was it? I'll have to talk to him because I never heard. Because he's the claim patroller up there for me, you know.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know where he found it at. If it was over here in Meadview or Gold Basin or what.
Well, he doesn't go to Gold Basin.
He does.
No, he does. Well, I mean, there's a couple times he sneaks over the hill there, but you're talking about the Patrick in the campground?
Yeah, that's overseeing stuff with the Queen Tut for you.
Yeah. Did you find gold? I just sent him a message because I want to see that. Let's see. Big one, Steve says. I don't know. I ain't seen it. See, wonder if the Deus company will step up and make one that will shrimp out.
Well, I got a picture of it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
John Ryan, okay. Let's see. And get a dingo. Craig, you missed us, buddy. We missed you, man.
I'm sending a picture over right now.
Oh, to me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Fight the mouse against your spiders, Josh says.
Yeah. I'd rather deal with the mice than the spiders. That spider is pretty big.
Yeah, them mice, though, they can be destructive, man. They chew all your crap up. And
yeah, that's very true. Yeah, and that's why I had to get the situation taken care of today.
Oh, there it is.
Can't let that kind of thing go.
Oh my God.
unaddressed.
Holy shit, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow. Man. That's pretty. Let me show people this piece here. That's pretty. Look at that. Wow. That's impressive. I love that $20 bill that thing said. Holy Hannah. Wow. That is nice. That's the biggest piece I've seen. Man, he should be happier than a lark.
I think he is.
I think he is. You know what I'm going to do? I got to play something so I can go take care of business. You got to go take care of business, Reese? Let's
good.
Let's play something here so we can go take care of business. Oh, this is something from Montana. You'll enjoy this. Hold on, folks. We'll be right back in a couple moments.
Gold Fever Radio has always been interested in ghost towns, visiting, learning the history of them, etc. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the ghost town of Wicks, Montana. Here's a town that has had more than its share of disastrous fires, having all been but wiped out in the Holocaust years of 1901, 1906, and 1910. The town is picturesque enough in its little group of remaining buildings, but its main interest lies in the ruins of the huge smelters and refineries, the dome-coked ovens, and piles of cannonball-like grinder used in the ore pulverizing process. These operations turned out $50 million in silver and gold. The nearby Altamine produced $32 million in silver and gold. The Gregory, with a record of $9 million, is in the neighborhood, as are the Nina and the Bertha. The early 1890s saw the end of almost all operations. And now pretty much what's left is the livery stable and the old meat market. James Wilson Marshall discovers gold along the banks of Sutter's Creek in California. Sutter's Creek was named for a Swiss immigrant, John Augustus Sutter, who came to Mexican California in 1839. He became a citizen of Mexico and won a grant of nearly 50,000 acres in Sacramento Valley, where he planned to create a thriving colony. He built a fort that became the center of his first town, called New Helvetia. He bought farming implements, livestock, and a cannon. He convinced the local Indians to do all the work on his farm, often treating them like slaves. Workers who dared to leave without permission were often brought back by armed posses to face whippings or execution. In the 1840s, Sutter's Fort became the first stopping-off point for overland Anglo-American immigrants coming to California to build farms and ranches. Though sworn to protect the Mexican province from falling under the control of the growing number of Americans, Sutter recognized that his future wealth and influence lay with these Anglo settlers. With the outbreak of the Mexican War in 1846, he threw his support to the Americans, who emerged victorious in the fall of 1847. When the war ended, Sutter hired John Marshall to build a sawmill along the South Fork of the American River in January 1848. In order to redirect the flow of the water to the mill's water wheel, Marshall supervised the excavation of a shallow mill race. On the morning of January 24, 1848, Marshall was looking over the freshly cut mill race when a sparkle of light in the dark earth caught his eye. Looking more closely, Marshall found that much of the mill race was speckled with what appeared to be small flakes of gold, and he rushed to tell Sutter. After an assayer confirmed that the flakes were gold, Sutter set about gathering up as much of the gold as he could, hoping to keep the discovery a secret. However, word soon leaked out, and within months, the largest gold rush in the world had begun. Ironically, the California gold rush was a disaster for Sutter. Though it brought thousands of men to California, the prospectors had no interest in joining Sutter's agricultural community. Instead, they overran Sutter's property, slaughtered his herds for food, and trampled his fields. By 1852, New Helvetia was ruined, and Sutter was nearly wiped out. Until his death in 1880, he spent his time unsuccessfully petitioning the government to compensate him for the losses he suffered as a result of the gold rush he unintentionally ignited.
All right. Okay, so let's see, where was that at? Robert, what detector am I waiting for? I'm waiting on, I've got the Axiom. There's like 3 of us waiting on the Axiom to come in that's pre-ordered as soon as that comes in. I don't know if I want to check out that new MindLab piece of shit, that Manicore Tizo Coca Roca crap. I don't know if Gold color. What sticker? You got one of my stickers, or do you want one of my stickers? Is that what you're saying? You're going to put one on? Anyways, all right. So, meanwhile, back in the States here, what's happening there, Reese? What's up, buddy? What do you do all day out there, man?
Detect for gold, edit videos, camp chores, lots of camp chores. I have a coyote pack that keeps me company during the day when I'm at camp. And Montana, it was a black bear that would come around once in a while, and then a flying squirrel. But here it's a pack of coyotes that seems to be curious with me.
Cool. Yes, Craig, the Axiom is what I'm waiting on. They say by the end of the year we're supposed to have them. So anybody wants one, better hurry and contact me now and get in on that list. It is super, super great. So is that your main detector that you're swinging out there is the 6,000 then?
The 6,000. And as soon as I get onto an area where I can find more than one piece of gold, I'm going to be pulling a 5 out with my big 25-inch double D coil. And I'm going to be looking more closely at the area.
Mm-hmm. So,
that thing was designed to punch very deep.
The 19-inch?
25-inch double DX by Nugget Finder.
Oh, okay. Nugget Finder. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I looked at one of them. It's like we were talking about, $1,400. The one I was looking at. That's a little out of my.
This was around $600, and you need a bungee and you need that swing arm. But I can swing the thing all day long with that swing arm and the bungee, and it pinpoints like a dream.
You know, I know people that use the bungees and swing your arms. I can't. I hate to be tethered to anything, and that's why. Even the 7,000, and I'll swing that 7,000 with that 27-incher, and I still don't. I mean, I don't hear that.
Yeah,
I hear the Axiom has a. Oh, Trucking Nomad says he hears the Axiom has a problem with hot rocks. I don't know. I never heard that. I heard that the Axiom is in between the 2,300 and the 6,000, but it does have iron discrimination on that, so it shouldn't have any problem. And it's a PI, and PIs basically don't pick up hot rocks unless they're iron, but you won't get your other mineralized with the PI that you do. I think that's one of the things. The 6000 is kind of a very sensitive machine, and that's why it's kind of, chattery, because as you're swinging it, you're almost constantly thinking you're picking up a target, and you have to go super slow, and you have to almost double check everything constantly to say, was that a target? Was that a target? Was that a target? Was that a target?
Well, the 6000 is actually a very forgiving machine. There have been numerous times I've found gold with it in real faint targets. I would intentionally run it from wherever I was searching on the sensitivity and run it all the way down to 1 to see if I can pick up on it. And then I'd start digging. Other times I will run the coil over the target as fast as I can, because sometimes when you run slow, you'll hear it, the ground noise gets in the way of it. So if you run the coil over it real fast, it'll sharpen the signal up.
Yes, Trucking Nomad. I saw what Chris Ralph did on the video on that axiom. Picking, let's see, watching Chris Ralph's video on it, it's picking up hot rocks the 6000 doesn't see. To me, it's going to be another arsenal, just like so many machines I've probably got 12 different metal detectors, and they all, do something different depending on what you're using it for. I think that 6000 might be good. What I hated about up there in the Meadview area, what I don't like, you can dig down 6, 7, 10 inches for one of those iron rocks, and they sound just like a piece of gold.
Yep, in magnetite. And up in Montana, there's not far from my claims, it's in a gulch called Confederate Gulch, or not Confederate, but Carpenter. And that whole area is gold skarns, and there's tons of magnetite up there. And that magnetite, there's just nothing you can do about it. But here, I dig about 5 to 20 hot rocks an hour with my 6. And it's like comparing like a well-trained gelding or whatever to a wild Mustang between the 5 and the 6.
Yeah, I think the 6 is probably the best in its class for that area. But what's his name was up there? David was up there with that 7, and he found that little piece of gold with that 7 too that was only a few inches down. But I do believe you up in that area, because if you run I knew a guy that found over 70 pieces of gold using a gold monster. But to me, if you don't have a PI, you're going to fight hot rocks galore, because if you got a VLF, that thing doesn't shut up. It's constantly going off on you.
Right, and the Equinox is basically useless here.
Yeah.
Other than if you get a signal that does not produce a negative number along with a positive number, then it'll be gold. But if you get a negative number, it's constantly going off. It's just frustrating to hunt with it.
Yeah, and I know people that will hunt with both, the 7000 and the gold monster at the same time, and some people will hunt with the 6000 and the Equinox at the same time. You get a target, and then it'll help you locate it with the Equinox, and pinpoint and tell you if it's iron or maybe a possibility of gold.
Yeah, well, the monster will lie to you, the Equinox will lie to you. And I've got a video out where on one of my claims, Will had told me that this particular area had not been worked before, and I had a real faint target, and it turned out to be a very deep target, probably close to around 2 feet. And we pulled out the monster, and it was pegging on the gold scale every time we went over it. It never left pegging on the gold scale. And we all thought for sure that was going to be my big nugget finally. And well, you guys will have to go watch the video to find out.
Yeah. Well, generally the gold monster, you know, like, so when you get a target with the gold monster, it kind of bounces back and forth because the gold monster is also reading the mineralization of the ground. So it's giving you false signals. But if it's like still kind of bouncing around, and the closer you get to the nugget, the more and more, if it is a piece of gold, the more and more it'll start to swing towards the gold side. But
Right.
still, if it's brass, aluminum, it's still going to pick up as gold, and you're going to dig that up and think you got a piece of gold anyways.
And big iron will read off as gold too. I had a target, thought for sure maybe it might be gold, or it might be a lead bullet or brass casing or something. And it was overloading as well. So, but what it turned out to be on this particular target was a Dutch oven lid, just straight iron, and it will lie to you on it. Big iron will read as gold with the monster.
Yeah, them frickin' Mind Lab pieces of shit detectors anyways, you know. you know, I fell in love with the Meadview area. I love it up there. I think it is such a pristine area. It's good for gold up there. I think it's peaceful, relaxing. I seriously enjoy that area up there.
I do too. It's a good area. It's not too terribly hot in some of the milder months, and it's not as bad as Montana in the colder months like December. January wasn't bad. It seemed like December last year was the coldest month, and so far November's been pretty damn cold. We've already had snow here.
Oh, I can't wait to get back up there, man. I do. I would spend so much more time up there. You know, I got spoiled, but when I first went up there, I don't know, last year, and I camped up there on top, and I just walked over the side and found 3 pieces of gold, and I just thought, you know, I like this thing, and then I talked to, you know, Sharon and what's his name over there? What's his guy's name? I forget. Mark, yeah. And Sharon was telling me like where they found gold at, and known as Little Gold over there. And so I started detecting on the other side where everybody was finding that. Man, and I tell you what, I pulled out over 100 pieces of gold within, you know, a couple months. And it was just so thrilling. You know, there's that one picture that I posted on that coral that had over 70 pieces of gold in it within a couple of weeks. And God, it was just, I just totally loved it. It's hard now. I think we've cleaned that area out. I know you can't get everything. I know there's still more there. I know there's bigger pieces, but we got to kind of get off the beaten path and get more where the old timers are probably been at. But it's there.
I think what it's going to come down to now is the same thing. Our claims that we pulled when we got to our claims this year and staked them. We were hitting gold anywhere from a gram to 28 grams a day, and we cleaned everything out on the surface stuff for the most part, and we have to dig. You have to just flat start digging before you even pick up the detector. And I think Meadview is a candidate for that now. And that's one strategy I'm going to be doing here, but I'm trying to come to terms with that because I'm still recouping from digging all summer long in Montana. And we had some rough stuff to dig through with large chunks of bedrock we had to pull out and other rocks.
So moving on to the Axiom, Gold Color says, hey, give me a call. I'll give you an awesome deal on the Axiom, buddy. Trucking Nomad, that's why he uses the Garrett's, the whites, 24K instead of a Monster. Well, you know, the thing about the turn on and go machine, it's a very sensitive machine, but it's turn on and go, and that's why people kind of like that. You get into your 24K, same with the Gold Bug 2. The Gold Bug 2 is a higher frequency. I think the 24K somewhere is around 45 or 47 kilohertz. The Gold Bug 2 runs at I think 71 kilohertz or something. So it's way up there. Yeah. It's so sensitive, but you can reduce it down, and you can play with so many knobs to get rid of some of that hot rock. The Gold Monster, you're kind of limited. You can't play with it. It's a good all-around machine for the beginner to just turn on and go. But yeah, you're right. The 24K and the Gold Bug 2 are better machines. Because there's more flexibility where you can tune out some of that stuff and tune that down. Both good machines. Mark, yeah, I'm sorry you missed us too, Mark. Oh, you got the stickers. Cool, Mark. I'm glad you did. I hope you're feeling better, guy. You're out of the hospital and feeling better. So next time. Steve says that's an awesome place up there. Yes, it is. So I can't wait to get back up there. Yes.
I want to say something in regards to these other machines and the 6 and stuff. Anytime magnetite is just pure iron, and it's a real difficult material to try to wipe out. And when you try to wipe it out, you're going to lose sensitivity. Period. I don't care what machine it is, Mine Lab, Fisher, Garrett, Whites, it doesn't matter. But you wipe that out and you're going to sacrifice some gold. And I think that's one reason why, from what I understand, there is a filter that the 5000 had on it, and Mine Lab opened that filter up in order to get the sensitivity that they wanted for it, but it also opened it up to the magnetite. And here in Meadview, it frustrates the hell out of me. I get pissed every single day digging hot rocks as often as I have to dig them. And some of them, like you said, 6-7 inches down, only to find out it's a hot rock. It's a chunk of magnetite.
I know, that pisses me off.
Sounds like gold.
They do. They sound so, and you think you're good, and you dig down, and you know you're out of the surface trash, and you get down there, and it's like, but here's what I heard, though, and this is kind of true. If you pull up one of those iron rocks from the ground, search in this general vicinity, because there's a piece of gold nearby.
I've heard that too, you know, and I've also heard that
somebody else already found it, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, where did I just see this? Oh, Craig says, if I change my channel to Kangaroo Jack, Mine Lab will give me a dealership. You know, Mine Lab sucks. You know, and I'm going to tell you a true story here. This is a true story. I've been fighting with Mine Lab ever since I had the prospecting store in Wickenburg. They have never gave me a Mine Lab dealership. And so this time the rep out in this area said no. So I went over her head and I went to the main person there in Illinois, and they asked me all these questions. Well, where are you from and where are you at? And you got a store? Absolutely, I got a store. So they said, oh, we'd love to have you as a dealership. So he sent me all the applications and sent me all their sheets and price sheet, everything. And then he said, I'll have the person get a hold of you. Didn't hear nothing. So I called back and said, what's going on? He said, well, after further review, we decided against it. I know where the further review came from. That's from that piece of shit Mine Lab rep. And I don't mind her saying that because that's my feelings. You know, it's all protection of somebody else. Anyway, guys, Get me off of this. Quit it. Stop it.
Mine used to be really good before they moved their manufacturing to Malaysia. They were way better. But ever since they moved to Malaysia, they started having like issues with quality control. My 6000 arrived defective right out of the box. And that was the reason why I didn't want to get one, but I ended up getting it anyway. And sure enough, defective right out of the box, wouldn't even pick up a quarter or a chunk of pipe. So I sent it off to Mine Lab, to the detector center in Pennsylvania. They replaced it, and I told them, make sure the thing works before you ship it out. Well, it worked, but when I got it back, I looked at the 11-inch coil in the bag, and there was a circular crack in the top of the coil. So I had to send that back to them, and they sent me a new one back before I even headed out for Arizona in a couple days after that. But once I got it, it was fine. But, a lot of these people, Mine Labs finally admitted that there is an issue with the speaker, with the sensitivity. It picks itself up when you don't have the headphones put in. And they finally admitted that there's an issue with it, and people can send them back to get fixed. But I'm not going to do that, because I don't know that detector is not going to come back and be dumbed down. And my detector might be hot, and I would rather have it be hot and deal with the noise and pick up on all these tiny pieces than it be dumbed down and my gold count goes down.
No, totally agree. It is a very, I think the 6000 is so highly susceptible to EMI. It's, sometimes you'll be detecting, and then all of a sudden it just starts screaming at you. And you kind of got to just like walk away from that area where you're at, because you can't hunt there. It just goes bananas.
Yep. One of our claims every day, we would get, for a good part of the summer, we'd get storm clouds that would come in. It might pass us, but it's close enough, few miles away to affect the 6. And every day about 1:30 to 3 o'clock, the 6 would just go haywire. You couldn't hardly detect.
Yeah. I'd like to say, though, as sucky as it is, it's the best machine in this class right now.
Yes, it is.
And until something else comes along, I hate to admit it, I'm stuck with that 6000. It's lightweight. There's nothing that will compare to it.
I don't know of another detector out there. I found a 0.53 of a gram nugget at 15 inches deep with the 6000. And I'm going back to that spot tomorrow morning because I think there's more there. I pulled 5 out there last year in 2 days. And Mark went back there with the 7, and he couldn't pick anything out of there. He's like, you got it worked over pretty good.
Yeah.
But I think there's more, but 15 inches deep. And then a buddy of mine, one of my claim partners, pulled a 1 ounce, 2 gram nugget out at about 20 inches, 18 to 20 inches.
Yeah. Well, you're using that 19-inch coil on there, aren't you?
I don't have a 19. I use a 17-inch elliptical on the 6.
Well, that's what I meant. Okay, 17-inch. I meant 17-inch.
Yeah, so and that's an amazing coil. I love that coil.
Yeah, I think with that coil, that almost goes almost as deep as a 7000. Almost. With the and it's a lot less, not as heavy as the 7.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I never wanted to get the 7 because of the weight.
Yeah, no. So when I debated back and forth the 7 or the 6, and when people started telling me that 7 is like swinging a garbage can lid full of cement, got me away from the 7, but you know what? After the 6, I still went and got me the 7. So,
For that 25-inch coil I swing on the 5, that coil's 3 pounds.
well, that big coral that I got with that thing, I swear to God, when you pick that up, you can hear channel 10.
Yeah. In fact, a buddy of mine, we joke around, we call that coil I got the trash can lid.
Yeah.
Because it's as big as a trash can lid.
With all the retarded NASA type tech engineers USA, somewhere could we build out better detector ever? You would think, huh? If a rep can't make it, yeah, send in another rep. Well, anyways, don't get me going on my lab again, guys. Don't do it. Quit it. uh, anyways, you guys are bad. Okay. All right, Reese. Stephen, quit it, buddy.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yes. Is there anybody? Reese, you are a great guest. Lots of interesting info. Thanks for sharing it. Enjoyed the show. Jack and Reese are good together. You bring out the best in each other. You have a great week. Thank you, Patties. All right. So, Reese, tell us more so people that can go follow you. Tell us about your channel, your wherever they can go get more information about you.
My website is goldseekeradventures.com, and that's where you can purchase my book. And I also have information on there about the training classes that I give for detecting for gold and geology. I don't have I'm not a geologist, but I've been studying this, and I've had the privilege of knowing some very talented old timers that passed a lot of knowledge off to me, as well as the chief mining engineer for the Bureau of Mines of Montana. And I still seek his knowledge out, and he still will spend the time to help me out, as well as another geologist is inputting some information for me so that my next book will be as powerful as it possibly can be in regards to skarn deposits. My YouTube channel is Gold Seeker Adventures, and I have basically
Yeah, that kind of digitized a little bit. You were frozen. You're frozen in time.
Yeah.
You froze on me.
I see me. I don't see you.
Oh yeah, you froze on me there for a moment. Yeah, you froze on me. Let's see. So, do Gold Color says,
Can you hear me?
ever use? Yeah. Do you hear me? Gold Color says, do you ever use trees to help you find the gold? Richard says, feedback. Good now. Oops, lost him. Richard says, lost him. You disappeared.
You back? Hear me, Gold? I don't know if you can hear me, Gold Color, but sometimes I'll use plants, and in some situations, the trees in a gulch, I'll sometimes use it as a spot where there's going to be a higher concentration of nuggets. And one of my claims, every tree that was down on the ground, when I cut it up and moved out of the way, there was gold almost every single time underneath those trees that were dead on the ground. So I guess sort of in a roundabout way. My channel, there's 3 shows on there within the channel, and one is A Quest for Gold, and that's basically highlighting everything that goes on in my daily life, living out my truck and in a tent full time for over a year and a half now. The other one is goal detecting food for thought, and that is basically giving people a short video tidbit insight to help them with geology and a strategy for gold. The third show is Gold Seeker Adventures, and that's the gold detecting, as well as some mishaps that may happen, or encounters with wildlife, or everything with the gold detecting. And we come across some interesting stuff when we're up on our claims. We have a grizzly den right almost on the epicenter of where we're digging at on our Utopia claim. So it can be exciting up there. We have 5 grizzlies up there. One of them being 850 pounds.
Nice. I like it. I hate bears. I hate bears almost as I hate freaking Mind Lab. I think I hate bears more. But
well, I'd rather put up with the bears and Mojave greens or rattlesnakes. Thankfully, I haven't seen any in the last 2 years.
I'd rather put up with Mojaves than a bear. I don't like bears. Bears will eat you. Rattlesnakes will just bite you.
Well, when that bear tried coming through the wall of my tent at 150, I cannot even describe what an amazingly scary adrenaline rush that is to happen.
Oh, I bet. Or to feel to have to change your pants.
My tent was 16 feet in diameter and it's 10 feet tall. And there was another miner that saw me as a threat up in the area. So he tried to cause me as much trouble as he could with fish and game. So I had to move my camp. And when the fish and game came back, they said, well, Reese, I called again and he's complaining and you're going to have to move your camp. And they said, why don't we go up to the camp and let's find you a place to set up your new camp. And we went up above on this bluff where there was a scheelite mine up there. Well, we decided that's not a good spot because we found grizzly tracks up there and right where I wanted to put the tent at. So it was a through highway for the bears. So we went back down and they said, just move your camp 50 feet closer to the creek and you'll be fine. This headache will be over with. I said, okay. So I moved it 50 feet closer and I knew I was going to have problems with bears right there. It's just a gut feeling. Every night I went to sleep, there was like the hair would stand up on the back of my neck. And I'm like, there's going to be trouble here. And about a week into being camped there, I heard something coming across the creek, over across the creek with sticks breaking. And then I heard something standing in the water. After that, I heard something walking around my tent about where the head of my cot was. And I was getting a little bit concerned, just listening and everything. Didn't hear anything after a little while. So I went outside the tent, fired off 3 rounds from my pistol, then went back in and thought, that'll take care of it. And then 1:50 in the morning, it sounded like the tent was coming down. It was just shaking to beat hell. And I jumped up, grabbed my glasses, turned my light on, grabbed my pistol, sat up, and had time to spare, just waiting for it to come through the wall. And I yelled out, get out of here. And to my surprise, the grizzly wheeled around and you could hear it wheel around and take off over the tailing pile. And it never came back. But I was told by a friend that my mistake that night was firing off the pistol. Because he said black bears will take off and they won't come back. When you do that with a grizzly, it will always come back repeatedly when you fire a gun off at camp.
Wow. Do you know, they say that you can tell by the bear shit if it's a black bear or a grizzly bear.
It's a lot bigger.
Well, no.
It's a lot bigger.
Well, no, black bears have like little berries in them, and the grizzly bears have little bells in them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so you know that you know why tourists put little bells on them as they walk through the forest.
Well,
Yeah.
we both of our claims, you could be up there alone and you hear noises up there like a whole section, like a 12-foot section of a tree just dropping over and hitting the ground, or rocks rolling down the side of the mountain. I mean, like boulders. And you hear that and you're like, what the hell was that? And that sounded like it was only like maybe 100 yards away, which is too close for comfort if it's a bear. And the dogs start freaking out. So multiple times, right where we're digging at, in the same direction, in the direction of where that grizzly den is where we hear this noise at. And one of these years, we're going to figure out what that noise is. I just know.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Garrett does make a PI machine. Yeah, Craig, you're right. It's blah blah. The Axiom is a PI machine, so we'll see how great it is. I'll as soon as I get it, I'll be out testing it. Let's see. Gertcher Marco. Thanks. Anyways, okay. We get sidetracked so easily here. There is no set form or no. So how long you stay out there before you head back to Montana?
I'll be out here until April sometime, and then I'll head back to Montana. It'll take me a day and a half to get back to Montana. And I'll end up checking out a new area, looking for some new ground to stake another claim, and then head back up to my two claims once I can get in there with the snow, because they're both up literally straddling the top of a continental divide. So, but I'll be looking for some new ground for another claim.
Trucking Nomad says the grizzly hears the gunshot and thinks you shot something, so they come in after the animal that you shot.
It's a dinner bell.
That makes sense. I never thought of that. The dinner bell. Well, I used to go hunt elk a lot in Colorado, and people used to tell me that they would run into a bear and they would be like 6 feet away, and the bear stands up and starts to click its teeth at them and stuff, and oh man, I say, you know what? I think I'd shit my pants. I didn't want to see no bears. I don't like bears. I want no bears. I want to see no. I'd shoot a bear, and they kept saying, but Jackie, you'd go to jail. If a bear's 1,000 yards of me, I see a bear, I'm shooting at it. I don't want to see no bear.
A friend of mine contacted me, and it was May, I think, and he had a week off, and he was over at Moose Creek detecting, him and his wife, and she went running past him. He's like, "What's the matter with you?" And she's yelling, "Snake!" So he walked up the trail, and he was detecting, and he saw something moving down by his foot. And there was a rattlesnake by his foot. It didn't even rattle. And he's like, "That's enough of this place." He goes, "The rattlesnakes here won't rattle at you. You don't know if you're damn near stepping on them. And they're all over the place, thick." So he called me up and asked me, he's like, "Where you're detecting at, are there any rattlesnakes?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "There's bears though, right?" And I said, there's an 850 pounder, and there's 5 grizzlies up here, and then you got the black bears. I said, "But that big grizzly, he keeps to himself. He doesn't bother anyone." So he came out to go detecting for a week. The day after he got there, he rode his ATV down to the fork in the road to call his wife and just let her know how things were going. And he looked over at the fork and he saw a grizzly walking down the road towards him. And he hopped on his ATV and took off, went back to camp. And he said, there's a grizzly heading our way. And I said, really? He's like, yeah, he's big, coming our way. I'm like, how big? He's like, big, like pushing 4 feet at the hips. I'm like, 4 feet. I'm like, that's big. And so we just kind of hung out by the fire all night. I don't think that bear ended up coming down. I think he pulled off at another point and went up to an area that's that bear highway I was talking about earlier. There's an area that cuts over a saddle, and the bears use it as basically a super highway.
No, we don't like. Earlier, you made the comment. Somebody asked something about it. If you're ever looking at a topo map, and for some reason, I just got a ding. The topo map, and you see where it says like gulches, Chinese Gulch, or Yucca Man's Gulch, or Dead Man's Gulch, or French Gulch, or gulches for some reason contain gold. So wherever you see gulches on topo maps, those are where you want to go investigate. You mentioned gulches earlier. You were talking about some gulches, but anytime you see a gulch on a topo map, go investigate it because there's gold in the gulches.
Yeah, some Montana, there's a lot of gulches. There's one gulch called Klondike Gulch, and right next door is Yukon Gulch. There is gold up there, and it's kind of funny. How did those drainages become, get those names? It's like, who knows? It's like maybe the two guys that discovered those, or the one guy was on his way to Alaska, to the Yukon, never made it, and that's as far as he got, and never left. But there is gold up there. But you have to go like 1.5 miles to 2 miles up the drainage before you'll ever run into any gold. And it's rugged up in the Scapegoat Wilderness.
Yeah, that's how things get. I mean, names are, somebody will find something, they'll say something. And, out here, we were going up on this area and we found this mountain that was just producing gold galore. And so people would start saying, where are you going, Jack? And I'd say, I'm going up to this area, Gold Mountain, Gold Hill. And one guy calls me and he says, I looked all over the topo maps and I can't see where it says Gold Hill. There is no such thing. We just named it that. It was just, well, that's how everything gets its name. Somebody, Gold Bloody Basin Draw or whatever, somebody was killed in Bloody Basin, or that's how everything gets its name. Somebody dubs it, and before you know it, word spreads, and everything has a name.
Right. Something we never talked on that might shed some light on people. How many of your patrons here know what mass wasting is?
I don't know. You can ask that. We'll see what happens. You elaborate on it.
Well, mass wasting is probably one of the biggest things that prospectors can have at their disposal to learn about, to help them read a geological area to put them onto gold. And once you get very familiar with mass wasting, you're going to see geology in a completely different light. One of the things that you'll realize is that a lot of these events were not shaped over millions of years. A lot of these events were shaped extremely rapidly. And when you see what can take place from mass wasting, you'll see what I'm talking about. but mass wasting can, it's basically the process of mountains dying. And it takes place from anywhere in the world. Looking down here in Arizona and Meadview area, this area was underneath the water with these ditridal fans, and you have a lot of erosion that takes place. And mass wasting can take place on land or under the water. And if you learn the characteristics of all the different types of mass wasting events, from translational slides, rotational, there's block slides, topples, lots of different types. And if you learn the characters of these, when you're out in the field, you'll see the telltale signs, and you can use what I'm talking about in the book and figure out where the best places to look for gold by letting Mother Nature do the work of digging for you.
Trucking Nomad says it's a type of erosion. Yeah. The one good aspect to like, if you're talking about gold, so I know it's out here where we're at in most places. If you're in a mountain range, the pointy mountains are new mountains, your round mountains are old mountains. And the old mountains are the ones that came up through the ocean floor or through the whatever that brought the gold up. So if you're in an area and all the mountains are pointy, there's probably a chance of not being any gold there. You want to find in those older areas, and you want the rounder, mountains.
The Grand Tetons are a good example of new range. And then Appalachians, the Blue Ridge are a good example of very old. And then the Rocky Mountains are in between. The Rocky Mountains, during the Cretaceous period, the Rocky Mountains weren't even started thrusting up yet. But during the Cretaceous period, I'm finding out that a lot of areas like the Meadview area, Gold Basin, a lot of areas up in Montana and other areas from here to there, the gold deposits are of the Cretaceous period, a lot of them. And that's good to know, because during the Cretaceous period, the last part of it, most of the western United States and the central United States was underwater. 3/4 of Montana, half of Arizona was underwater, and everything from the Arctic all the way down to the southern tip of Central America was all underwater, the Cretaceous Seaway. And that's important information, because if there's gold deposits that are taking place at that time, that the sea is basically doing the erosion with it, and then you have the thrusting up of the Rocky Mountains, then that opens up a whole range of gold deposits that you don't even need to be around waterways to find the gold. Our gold that we're finding in Montana, there's no water for quite a ways. It's all dry. It's high and dry, and it's warm.
And yeah, no, that gold you had was some nice looking gold, but it's also different. Like, say, where we are here in Arizona, where I'm at, and you get around the Quartzsite area, probably the Meadview area. It's more of like caliche, a sediment, a bedrock that was probably like an ocean. You get around the Rich Hill area, that was a river. And so, once upon a time, a huge ass river flew through there, and you got your big ass rocks and smooth rock. But where we're digging at, all around every area I know, there is not those big rivers that flow through. So it was more like a lake bed or something that settled through there, whether the mountains came up through the lake beds and brought all the, the gold up with it or something. It didn't flow like a river, say like around the Rich Hill where you have your big ass granite boulders and big boulders. So they're different areas, and true, you do have to read the area where you're at and then kind of go from there.
It's funny you say that, because there's not a lot of rocks I see around here that have the characteristic of water worn. Not like what I'm used to seeing up in other states, like in Idaho and places in Montana. You get up and dig into an old river channel, and the rocks are polished like it went through a giant tumbler. It's just smooth, polished. Our claim, we'll get jasper and calcite that'll be worn smooth and like it went through a rock tumbler. Murray, Idaho, you'll get massive boulders over there the same way. But here I see somewhat worn rocks, like it might be partially worn with water, but I usually don't see the really worn rocks that would get me excited in an area where you would find big gold, like up in our neck of the woods. It's different here, and I'm still trying to figure out, what's going on. Me and a friend are under the suspicion that Senator Mountain and the other volcanic cones to the west, when they erupted, this ditridal fan that leads from Senator towards Wallapai Wash, we think that's the same ditridal fan is over here in Lost Basin that stretches all the way over to the Grand Wash Cliffs. It was one ditridal fan, and then it was separated. And this took place during the Cretaceous period, mind you. And I think it was right after that, the Lost Basin Range was thrust up and separated the two with a fault. But I found gold up on the very top of the ridge, and it was very coarse. I mean, it has literally sharp edges on it. It didn't go anywhere. So that kind of lends some more suspicion that with it being up where it was at, there just wasn't enough water to kick it loose and send it down and begin its path to start wearing to, the gold here is strange. It's hard to figure out because from what I read, the placer gold is not related to the hard rock gold. So if that's the case, where'd it come from? Yeah, I think it would have to be something.
No, you're totally right. I mean, there's only kind of, besides, down where we were at, you've only got the one mine up on the hill. The Climax mine is the only, deep shaft mine that you have right there. And other than that, everything else that we find all over the place, it's rough. It hadn't traveled at all. It's still attached to the Cleachy. Trucking Nomad said that's when the Cleachy layer was laid down. What I think part of where we were at was all part of Lake Mead once upon a time, and that water was way up there. And that's what the Cleachy is that sediment layer, your calcium deposit or whatever that is that just creates, and that gold got shot up and it sat right where it is. And it's never moved since then.
Well, from what I was told by a friend of mine who's a geologist, I found some rocks up on top of the hills over there in Gold Basin that have wave ripples in them. And I asked Steve if the Gold Basin area was underwater at one time, like under a seabed. And he's like, yeah, it was. And I said, Cretaceous Seaway? And he goes, yep. And there was also another body of water that came after that broke. There was like a natural dam and it broke and formed the Grand Canyon. And I've been leaning towards the thoughts that the Grand Canyon was formed very rapidly. And this is a result of what I know about mass wasting. Now, you cannot get the grand staircase to build up layer by layer of erosion over millions of years. it has to be, you would have to have high energy material, water and stuff to be able to push each layer as the Grand Canyon goes down, and then lay it up on top to the side of it in reverse order with the oldest at the top. You can only have that happen with a very rapid, high energy event, such as a large body of water breaking loose and gouging everything out.
Oh, I think you can, if you look over at the mountain ranges, the one that's to the, that would be to the east, you can look up on those mountains and you can see the different levels towards where the Grand Canyon is. The water levels were kind of rested at one time. And you're right, with that all being underwater, whether it was an explosion, an earthquake, whatever, that drained it all out, and as water recedes, it cuts down, takes path of least resistance, created Grand Canyon, Colorado River, all of that ripped on its way on out of there and took a lot of gold with it.
Yeah. And the caliche, I also know that the caliche can be formed somewhat slow, but it also can be formed very rapidly. And I think that the caliche is made up of it's what's the word I'm looking for? I hate it when this happens. Limestone, but I think that there is also some other ingredients in there, like maybe lime or something, that not lime, but ash, volcanic ash, sulfur and stuff that's from the earthquakes that contributed to it, with the plumes of ash that settled over the entire area. I mean, in Montana, when Mount St. Helens exploded in Great Falls, Montana, we had over an inch of ash in our yard all over the entire city. And places that were closer had deeper layers of ash. So if you get something like right here with Senator Mountain, I could definitely see how you could end up with, several feet thick of ash in some areas.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, very rapid forming of caliche, combined with the volcanic activity, with the water that takes place that gouged out the Grand Canyon. Was it a seabed? It may very well have been a seabed that receded, or broke a wall, a barrier or something that rushed through. Who knows? But all these type of clues I try to use to come up with a new theory, and that ends up pointing me to a new direction to look. And this area where I found these 5 nuggets at, it was the same thing with that. And I have a suspicion that those washes here in Lost Basin, pushing over towards the edge of the Grand Wash Cliffs, I have a suspicion there's gold all the way over to where this ditridal fan stops. Detectable nuggets.
Okay. We have a geologist in the house here. So Trucking Nomad says, you have to remember the Great Basin was formed due to the crust stretching under the giant inland lake. And then, let's see, where else was there? When the southern part of the Pacific plates stopped moving north but shifted to a west transverse movement, the area of us, R, and Nevada. ASUR and V. See, or think about a well mass being associated with mass plasma events, which have been many and still happening. Think of a mass lightning bolt hitting an area with a uplifted. Anyways, I know that all I know is gold is where you find it, and I want to find it. I don't care how it's there. I don't understand it. I just know when I find it, I keep looking until I find some more. And when I don't find no more, I go to another area and I look for some more. Yeah. All right, Reese, we got to start wrapping up. Tell us again all about how people can go look at your books, your channels, can research you more. Tell us all of everything.
On my YouTube channel, I have my link to my website on the About page or in the description. And again, my YouTube channel is goldseekeradventures.com. I've got a lot of footage to get edited. I'm kind of new at it. But, and then my website for my book and my gold detecting training is also Gold Seeker Adventures, but it's goldseekeradventures.com. Real easy to remember. And you can go on there and you can get information. You can give me a call up if you want to get training on detecting and geology, whether it's here in Meadview, Gold Basin, or up in Montana at the Scratch Gravel Hills. And on with that, the training is $250 for a 6-hour day. And then if a person wants to take additional training, which would be advisable because there's a lot I teach, and then it would be $100 each additional day. But I've got references on there, people that class. But I have that on my website as well as the book, and I'm eventually going to have other stuff on there as well with the next book and the gold jewelry and stuff. And my picks. I'm coming out with my own line of picks called Smog's Gold Claw.
Hair picks.
Nope. Gold detecting picks.
All right, Reese. Hey, appreciate you hanging with us this evening and enlightening us with some wisdom. We need all that type of stuff, But yeah. Okay, so parting words. I got to ask you one last question.
Okay.
Somebody who is just starting out in this hobby, was probably the best piece of advice you could give them?
Dig every target, don't give up, and be persistent. I think that I've come across a lot of people that see where someone's at and they want to get there. They get impatient. You got to be patient. You got to be consistent and tenacious with it. The area where I got my claims at, I went there for 20 years before I found gold there. And that's persistence. That's what I'm talking about. A lot of people don't have to go that long, but you'll always find a piece of gold. It's just a matter of time before you come across the next one. And if you get skunked, don't worry about it, because a negative experience will help you with a positive outcome.
Keep on choogling.
Yep, just swing away.
Hey, all right, Reese. We appreciate all your time. Best of luck to you, buddy. We'll see you real soon in the future, man. We appreciate you hanging with us this evening.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you all for those who got the book.
All right, everybody. You guys all take care. Have a fantastic evening. You guys all be safe. Have a fantastic week. And until our paths cross again, get out there, find a little bit of that shiny gold. We appreciate all of you. Thank you, Reese. And until our paths cross again, good night, everybody. Peace out.
Good night.